الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قال رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. The following are writings by non-believers and what they have said about Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We begin this series with Lamartine, who was a Frenchman, and he wrote a book called The History of the Turks in Paris in 1854. And this is what he had to say about Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He begins by saying, "Never has a man set for himself, voluntarily or involuntarily, a more sublime aim, since this aim was superhuman, to subvert superstitions which had been interposed between man and his Creator, to render God unto man and man unto God, to restore the rational and sacred idea of divinity amongst the chaos of the material and disfigured gods of idolatry then existing." He continues, "Never has a man undertaken a work so far beyond human power with so feeble means, for he, Muhammad, had in the conception as well as in the execution of such a great design no other instrument than himself, and no other aid except a handful of men living in a corner of the desert. Finally, never has a man accomplished such a huge and lasting revolution in the world." And he lays down 3 criteria, and this is what he says about the criteria. He says, "If greatness of purpose, smallness of means, and astounding results are the true criteria of human genius, who could dare to compare any man in modern history with Muhammad? The most famous men created arms, laws, empires only. They founded, if anything at all, no more than material powers which often crumbled away before their eyes. This man moved not only armies, legislations, empires, peoples and dynasties, but millions of men in 1/3 of the inhabited world, and more than that, he moved the altars, the gods, the religions, the ideas, the beliefs and the souls. On the basis of a book, every letter of which has become law, he created a spiritual nationality which blended together peoples of every tongue and of every race. He has left us as the indelible characteristics of this Muslim nationality, the hatred of false God and passion for the one and immaterial God. The conquest of 1/3 of the earth to his dogma was his miracle. Rather, it was not the miracle of a man, but that of reason. His life, his meditations, his heroic reviling against the superstitions of his country, and his boldness in defying the furies of idolatry, his firmness in enduring them for 13 years at Mecca, his acceptance of the role of public scorn and almost of being a victim of his fellow countrymen. All these, and finally his migration, his incessant preaching, his wars against odds, his faith in his success, and his superhuman security in misfortune, his forbearance in victory, his ambition which was entirely devoted to one idea and in no manner striving for an empire, his endless prayers, his mystic conversations with God, his death and his triumph after death, all these served to affirm conviction which gave him the power to restore a creed." And he ends off by saying, "Philosopher, orator, apostle, legislator, warrior, conqueror of ideas, restorer of rational dogmas, of a cult without images, the founder of 20 terrestrial empires and of one spiritual empire. That is Muhammad. As regards all standards by which human greatness may be measured, we may well ask, is there any man greater than he?"
Dying daily, yet still alive, will